No. No, they didn't. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week when I talk about Wu Yang or something. I don't know. Fine. I guess I'll talk about Flashpoint and how it's still not a very good game mode. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Flashpoint as a game mode. I've had some pretty good games on both Survasa and New Junk City, both in their current state and before we got the map reworks, but that doesn't mean that they're good maps. Sure, they're a little bit more open now compared to what they were like before, but they're still full of choke points and are near impossible to get around unless you split off from your team or completely go on the flank, playing in the enemy team's half of the map and risking your life because you could get picked from behind at any moment. It's confusing. As far as I'm concerned, all of the quote-unquote problems with the older maps have somewhat been fixed, but A, these problems haven't been outright removed from the game, and B, the new map, Atlas, has examples of these problems on it. The clutter, the choke points, the confusing paths, they're all present on Atlas. But this video isn't about Atlas. I have nothing else to say about it other than they completely dropped the ball when it comes to designing the map, especially considering they highlighted all of the problems with the current Flashpoint maps, and still added those exact problems. Wow, I sure am saying the word problems a lot. Let's actually talk about what the problems were. A lot of people were complaining that there was too much clutter on both New Junk City and Survasa, making it a pain to get from point A to point B because it was disorientating and kinda ruined the pathing of a lot of heroes like Lucio and Bull. It was hard to traverse amongst a bunch of crap scattered everywhere, and the architecture of the map was sometimes very anti-movement based heroes. Not only that, the maps consisted of a lot of corridors and tiles that only really had two ways to go. You either take the really obvious path or the slightly less obvious path, with the third option being hard flank the enemy team. This caused a lot of fights to be fought in a massive choke point, where the team playing on defense would usually come out on top because they had better angles, positioning, and a lot more cover to work around. So let's have a look at what these devs did to fix these problems. Starting with New Junk City, they actually didn't change all that much. The main changes were made to the refinery and the ducts to make their chokes a little bit easier to play into. The refinery choke point had an extra door added to the back wall to make it easier to fall back against the enemy team playing on defense, and the ducts had the front completely ripped open, making it easier to push up into the enemy team playing on the defense by giving players more room to play around. Only both changes didn't really do anything. Sure, it's a tiny bit easier to push up into the choke points, but a good defensive team will still hold you in these chokes. Plus, it's not like they've adapted the other choke points either. On flats, you push up the same three ways. On junkyard, you push up the same three ways. On the first point, again, say it with me, you push up the exact same three ways. Has anything actually changed about this map? No. It's near enough the exact same and still has some of the same problems that were present before the reworks, like random things in the road acting as cover. The change did very little except make it easier to tell which part of the map is refinery and ducts. Moving on, let's talk about Survasa. It's the exact same as New Junk City, nothing has really changed, and it still has some of the same problems that were present before the reworks. Call me bitchy and ungrateful all you want, but the rework didn't really do anything. Some things were taken out of the map, like the weird gazebo thing in Spawn on the way to Ruins, which, I can appreciate, but I mean, all of the chokes are still there. Like, everything is basically the same except some visual flair on points like Ruin and at Spawn. If anything, the only thing that really changed is Spawn. I feel like it's basically all the same. I have nothing else to say about it, it's just not a good rework. I'm just gonna go around in circles saying, it's the same, nothing's changed, all the chokes are still there, again and again, because there's nothing else to say. So, at the end of the day, are the Flashpoint reworks good? No, they did fuck all. Sure, some points stand out a lot more than they used to, and the pathing to get from some points to other points is a little bit easier, but there haven't actually been that many changes. The same problems are still present, just slightly less so than they were in the original versions. It was kind of a waste of resources and nothing was learned from these changes, as they've made apparent in Atlas. God, this map sucks ass. Visually it's really pretty, but it's so buns. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm gonna ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video as it lets me know that you've enjoyed it and you want to see more. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure you check out some of my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.